Hey YouTubers, welcome back to the Rusty Dusty Picker channel. This is the place where we create things from inexpensive items, discarded items, things that we find at sales, things that might end up in the garbage, and we try to recreate and create things that have worth or meaning or gifts and such. So as you see here, we have golf clubs. What I think I'm going to do with this particular set is make a rack, a hanging rack for I don't know, an entryway to hang your hat, your coat when you come in. And this particular piece of wood, scrap wood that I have, is a great size and color. I did not paint this. This is the way it came, so it's sort of a grassy green. And I'm going to drill holes for these three woods after I use a pipe cutter. Probably somewhere in here to put them in. I will glue them in. I am not going to use these pre-existing holes because that's pretty close to where I'm going to put the lettering, and I'm just going to put the word golfer period is what I'm planning right now. So let me gather my thoughts and my things, and we'll move on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut with the pipe cutter the shaft off of this. This happens to be the driver, but I'll do all three woods, and I'll show you how that works. I'm going to cut it extra long because after I attach it through the piece of wood, there'll be excess, and I can cut it flush against the back and glue it that way just to make it nice and neat. So I'm going to go a little bit longer than I probably need to do. So, having been in the golf business, I've cut shafts quite often. Let's just say that. Could be for numerous reasons. Often cutting clubs down for junior golfers, which isn't the best thing for them because then it throws the weight of the club off. They shouldn't be hitting adult clubs anyway, but that's a discussion for another time. These days, clubs are inexpensive enough for starter sets for juniors that you don't need to do that, but in some places you do. So I'll just keep tightening and going round and round. I'll show you this one, and then the next ones I'll do off camera just to save time. And here it's starting to crack. And there we go. So one down. Alrighty, almost dropped it there, but here's what we're looking at now from the separated piece. Comes off pretty clean. So now we're looking at that size, and that will be installed this way as hooks across 1, 2, 3. So let me get the other two done, and we can get cooking here. All right, I'm finishing up the third one. I'm actually using the vise this time just so I don't lose my grip on it. Constantly tightening slightly as you're going through it. This is not brain surgery, but in the golf business, you know, you get a maximum standard length shaft, and you have to cut them in certain places to keep it simple, depending on the flex of the shaft that you want the end user to have. So it could be regular, medium stiff, stiff, extra stiff, depending on where the shaft kicks and such. So I'm going to let this fall on the floor because I only have one hand. Or I'll just snap it off like that. Alright, so now we have these three ready to go. Let me pull it out of here. So there you go. So now we have the three heads of the golf clubs. For anybody who's getting queasy about ruining golf clubs, you know, these are really cool to look at. There's no value in them per se. I mean, in perfect condition, I mean, I guess you could try to find a buyer for 20 bucks, 25 bucks. But that's in perfect condition, and nobody's going to play them, and they're not rare, but they're really super cool, I believe, for the purpose that we're working on here. So let me take a rest here and figure out exactly where on this particular board we are going to mount them. And like I said, we're going to just simply use the word golfer, I believe. So let's go. Whoops. Oh, the tape measure's jumping around. Anyway, yeah, rather than get complicated, this piece of wood is 23 5/8 inches in width. So rather than deal with math, I like to keep things simple, and I don't care if they're off a little bit. I'm just going to put a mark with a Sharpie at the 5-inch, 12-inch, and 19-inch area. So that will give me three. That's where I will drill the holes. That way I'm just dealing with, without dividing mathematics and stuff. This is not trying to impress anybody in terms of accuracy. This is homemade stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a dot at 5, 12, and 19. So 5 plus 7 inches is 12. 12 plus another 7 is 19. And we'll deal with it from there and drill the holes. So figured I'd share that with you, how I'm doing that, which is about the most unscientific thing you'll ever see. So we'll see in a sec. Okay. Excuse me. Didn't give you a weather update, but it's 72 degrees in the shop, and it's delightful. We have the 3 dots now, like I said, at I don't even remember. Yeah, 5, 12, and 19, I believe. And so let's drill one. I'm trying to keep them down here, so because the clubs will take up room up here a little bit, and then the wording will be up here. Additionally, I'm trying to use the right size bit for this. There's 2 considerations. One is we want the shaft to be snug within this hole that we make, but we also want there to be, kind of a little bit of room for the glue. I'm going to use Gorilla Glue, as you'll see later. So, I'm starting out with just eyeballed a bit that I think is a good starting point. So let's see if I can one-hand this and simply just drill a hole. Okay, so I'm going to start like that. I'm going to do all 3. That is clearly not wide enough for these particular shafts, but I'm going to work my way up to the size that I want, and then we'll work with what I end up with. Like I said, I want it snug, but I also want a tiny bit of room for the glue. And then when we cut them on the back, I'll add more glue, but we'll figure it out. If not, we don't. All right, guys. So I did gradually go up in the size of the bit for these, and I did get the holes drilled. This piece of wood is extremely dry, so there's some splintering, which not a big deal. That's the back, of course. I'm gonna come through and cut these flush, and glue accordingly. And this is something like what the front will look like here. And that's what we'll do. We're gonna have a little touch-up work to do here. Show you that, and yeah, so that's the concept. That's what we're going with. Something like that with the golfer thing. So a lot of moving parts right now, so everything's jumping around, but let's fix it up. So we're gluing now, and I figured I'd show you that, of course. Got the other 2 done already. It's very simple. I am using the largest club in the middle. That's the driver, the 1 wood, if you want to call it that. I just think it looks better that way, more balanced. So I'm just going to put the Gorilla Glue all the way up to here. I don't need it on the bottom because I'm going to be cutting that off from the back. So I'm going to put it in here, and I'm not just going to drop it in. I'm going to let the glue navigate down a little bit so that it will take, and the hole's the perfect size to take the entire steel portion of it. So I think we are going to be good to let this sit overnight. I really want it to sit and set longer rather than shorter. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll revisit it tomorrow and do the rest. So here we go. We are all glued up, glued and trimmed on the back. That's what our back looks like. This is where the shafts came through. Cut them off with the Sawzall. So now we're going to put the word golfer up top here. Probably would have been easier to do it before attaching the golf club hooks, but at the same time I wanted to get that done. So anyway, I'm going to get that started and show you how that comes out. Okay, before I do that, what I want to do is do some darkening of this board. I'm going to use white letters or off-white, and I want just a little darker background and just a little more character on this for the background for the letters. So I'm going to do this to the entire piece. Once again, just give it a little bit more character and also a little bit of a darker background so the white will pop on it. Okay? So I'll show you that when it's done. So we're just finishing up the last touches on the board. Just put some streaks in here as we go. And they'll just blend right in with the board. With the grain. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. So I'll get the stenciling started, and we'll come back and see how that looks. Just getting the R ready to go here. Almost done with the letters. I want to finish up a little look. And then, like I said, I'm going to add a period on the end of this. Golfer, period. So, there you go. That's what we're looking at so far. Okay, so let me find a period for the end, and we will let it dry and then seal it, and then do something to the back. Alright, so while we're waiting for it to dry, I figured I'd add a little accent. It looked a little naked down at the bottom here. So I added little flag sticks. You see, it's just a triangle and a straight line, but it represents flag sticks on a golf course. So I added those to the bottom corners. Wanted to share that with you. And once again, we'll let it dry. So this has just been sprayed, so now we have a clear coat on it. It's got a nice little shine to it as compared to before. So yeah, this item is pretty much done. Like I said, on the back I'm definitely going to put I might drill holes so that they can, you know, approximately maybe 16 inches apart, so it can be hung into studs on a wall. Or I'll just have a hanging mechanism on the back, maybe a wire or 2 wires here and here. But other than that, folks, this is done. I'm gonna keep it simple. And peace out. Thanks for coming to the Rusty Dusty Picker channel. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that little bell button so you'll be reminded of when new content is coming out. We do one at least once a week, usually twice a week. And other than that, thumbs up, thumbs down, and be good. God bless. Bye. All right. I couldn't help myself, so I did add 2 hanging wires on the back, so it'll hang steady when it's holding coats and stuff. And I also couldn't resist adding a little, creating and adding a little golfer motif on the back. I know it's not going to be seen very often, if at all, but it's one of the things I like to do, just add a little something on the back because it's quick and easy. Anyway, for reals this time, peace out.